This is a little test, and some people call it crap. I prefer to call it crepe. And it has two A's, but I'm going to call it crepe and I'll explain why. But this is just sort of an easy method. It's just a simple way for you to evaluate any source of information, right? And it's just, of course, using the acronym where each letter is going to stand for a key question to ask. And it's just a great little model to help you teach your children and yourselves, how to know if something is real or not. So let's take a look. You guys are wondering, what in the world is she going to actually spell out? Well, it's not crap, it's crepe. So the C, that is for current, right? So that's the first question that we're going to be asking. Is the information up to date? Is it current? Really? Okay. Because this is so important when things are fast changing and, fast changing fields like technology and medicine. It goes so quickly. And using outdated information can be just as bad as using false information, right? Because it's outdated, it's no longer reliable, in fact. So a check of the date might be the easy first step. Something that was true today, let me say that again. Something that was true a year ago may not be true today, right? That's just the way it goes. So that the actionable tip here is checking the publication date. Is the information recent enough for your topic? And so again, this is something that you can use for as you're looking at the latest topic online, or as your children and young people are doing research, something that they can also use to help. It's all about literacy, right? Digital literacy, media literacy, AI literacy, which is always the core components for critical thinking. Okay, so what is the R? So for this R, it's relevance, right? And so this is kind of like a fit test. Is this the right fit? If you're searching for, how to make a pizza, and you get a resource that's something like, a pizza for a five-star recipe for a five-star restaurant, that might not be what you need, right? If you're a beginner, you want something else. So you have to sit there and realize, is this relevant? Does this fit my need, my topic? Is it relevant for what I'm looking for? So why does that matter? Because, just because information is accurate, it doesn't mean that it's useful. So again, my example with the pizza recipe, just because we get a great recipe for pizza from a five-star restaurant doesn't mean that it's going to be useful to me, because I don't have those wonderful, expensive ingredients to make my pizza margarita. So, a source written for experts might be too complex for a child's school project. And sometimes I don't know if there's any educators on the line. I know for myself, being a professor, that sometimes you can tell when the kids are using, resources that are way too complex, because there's no way they could ever write in that manner. So it's the same thing with what we're looking for online. So the A, this is where they spread it out and use it for authority and accuracy, but I'm going to use it for both. So, who said it? Who's the author? What are their credentials? Right? That's the authority. That is the person. If you can't trust the person who's giving you the information, then, why you can't even trust the information itself. So, the accuracy part, is it true? Is it factual? Again, even if you can trust the person, but then you're like, okay, but now I need to know, is this accurate? Is this factual? Maybe that person, has gone off the rails since they first published this. So it's really just checking. And you should understand that this matters because an article by a reputable journalist or a scientist is obviously more credible than a random blog post. And it's the same thing with the information that you're receiving that could be AI generated. If it's from a reputable source as opposed to, just some social media user, that's something to look at. Some of those actionable tips again is, checking to see, do they have expertise on this subject? Are we citing the evidence? Can you cross-reference the fact with other trusted sources? You can see that on some of the AI content. In fact, if you're looking closely enough, you will sometimes see where they tell you that this is created by AI, or this is AI generated content. And that's when you know, okay, this is not perhaps for me, or this is not fit for purpose for my needs right now. So that P, what is the P? P is purpose. Okay, nice little, very simple, understanding the purpose. That can really help you evaluate the objectivity of the source. So again, if we're looking at that AI video, we're looking at that deep fake, that AI text, what is the intent behind this information? Is it really just to give information? Is it to inform us? Is it to persuade? Is it to entertain? Is it, is it, do we think it's to cause like some financial scams or cause some turbulence in different worlds? I mean, this is why these things matter because content that's created to persuade you, like an ad where you all of a sudden you want that big piece of chocolate cake, that is not the same as content that's created to inform you, like a news report talking about the benefits of chocolate cake. Can you tell that I want some cake? But still, so it's just you have to really kind of understand this, and it's okay for a source to be biased. Okay, as long as you recognize that bias too. So you're teaching your children, you're teaching yourselves to look for that why. And this is again part of the critical thinking. You're helping them to really just become more aware of the influence that can shape the media that they consume, not just AI generated media, but all the media. So again, the actionable tip here is to look for those biases. Is the author trying to sell you something? Is the author trying to push a political agenda? Is the author trying to, destroy a celebrity's reputation? Or is it just to present some facts? So those are some of the things that you're going to look at. And so there you go. There's my E, so I can make it a crepe. So my E is for ethics. As a lawyer, I just am always trying to stress ethics in the digital age, ethics in everything that we're doing, because really there's so much more to it, right? It's this as AI becomes more and more powerful, we have to go beyond just this sort of conversation about, the technology and how do we use it. It really must become something a bit more philosophical as we talk about, how we are using AI. What are we using it for? And again, I think this is a really important time for you to talk with your children and young people about AI because it's not going to stop. Okay. I know you're thinking, oh, I was kind of hoping that we could put a pause on it. AI is here to stay, but we need to figure out ways to use it ethically. As you're seeing, if you're reading the news, you're seeing things with OpenAI, and again, the therapy chat bots. And it's like, is that an ethical use? Some of these companies that are creating chat bots for children, is that an ethical use? I mean, these are the questions that we have to ask ourselves and then put guardrails if we find that the answer is no, that it's not an ethical use. So this E for ethics is very important for me because, again, critical thinking, it's not just me teaching you, how to spot the fakes, how to look for the red flags, what looks off, but it goes beyond that. It is about understanding the implications. It's about understanding that even if we do allow these deep fakes or this AI generated content to go through, what does this mean for us? What does this say for us as people, as communities, as a world? So AI in and of itself, it is really raising some big questions right now about our society, about our privacy, about our future, and it's also, about who has it and who doesn't. Having access to AI is just I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And those who don't have access, what's happening with them when we start talking about the digital divide, and again, the ethical implications there. So we need to have these ongoing conversations amongst ourselves as adults, as a community, and of course, with our children.